Hello everybody and welcome back to Lauren Loves Color. This is Lauren. What a fun video we have in store today. It is my completed pages for the month of February. This week has been, I don't know, an emotionally exciting week for me. I have officially hit 1,000 subscribers. 1,000! It is unbelievable to say, unbelievable to think, unimaginable. This is a goal I had set to reach by the end of the year in 2021. So the fact that we're just now getting into March and I've already reached 1,000 subscribers is just unbelievable. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to you right there watching my videos, liking my videos, commenting on my videos. I have connected with so many of you now, and I am just so grateful for all of the love that you have shared with me, all of the cool and neat ideas you've shared with me. You continuously keep me inspired. You continuously keep me motivated to make these videos, and I'm just so proud of where I'm at. I just can't believe it. I'm almost speechless. So with all of that being said, I'm going to be doing a lot of filming today. I do plan on doing, FYI, a huge 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So if you are interested in maybe getting some copies of some neat books or supplies or things like that, and I am planning on doing something as well for our international participants, stay tuned to my videos coming out over the next week, because I will likely have a video posted specifically and dedicated to my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Because without you, yes, you watching here right now, I would not be where I am right now. So I just want to say thank you to everyone and give something back to the community that has supported me throughout this journey. So this month, for the month of February, I have colored in 19 different books. I have 41 pages completed. This is slightly down from my average last month. Now February is a little bit of a shorter month, and we had a really bad storm, winter storm come through Houston, which really slowed down my coloring. However, I still think that 41 pages, I have one completed book as well in the month of February, considering all of that, is still rather amazing. So let's get into it. Let's get started. And I'm going to move my humongous stack of books to the side so we can get going. This first one was the last page of the month that I completed. Let me zoom out just a tiny bit. Move my mat over just a tiny bit. This is one of the last ones that I completed. Now, this was also an extremely emotional and just overwhelmingly excited week for me because of this book in particular. This is the Flower and Gardens Color by Number book from Questopia. I will be doing a dedicated video just to this book. If you do not follow Questopia on Facebook or Instagram, I had an opportunity to collaborate with them, specifically on the brand new color key that is on the backhand side. They have condensed their large 50 color key to 24 colors. And I am so honored that they chose to work with me on developing this palette. So I worked with them to help develop what colors they would have and a whole bunch more, even down to the sizes of the swatches, what was included on the back cover. There were some edits made to this. It took a series of weeks for us to go through this and test this, as well as I have now created and I'm going through testing different markers so that I can get color matches and share those color matches with you for different marker sets. So look out for that, because I'm going to be finishing testing my markers this week, hopefully over the next couple of days, and then I will be doing a dedicated video just about this book. But I colored the very first page out of here, which is this page. So it's all flowers and gardens and stuff right up my alley. I did this with my Cali Art markers. I will say I'm very, very happy with the color choices I selected here, except for this dark brown and the brown color. I will say I changed these a little bit just because I feel like this dark brown color really looks almost black. And that's why I'm doing that, is that the digital color swatches sometimes look a little bit different than when you actually see them on the printed book, as well as when you're choosing colors, you kind of think, oh, certain colors would look good together, or certain colors would match nicely. But then once you get it to paper, it looks a little bit different. So that's why I wanted to test it on the book itself. Excuse me. So I'll have the opportunity to test a little bit more in here. I'm trying to choose pages that use a lot of the different colors, but I am happy where I'm going to end up landing with my Cali Arts. If you are interested in the color matches that I have thus far, look in my description box of this video. Go to my link tree link that's in the description, or on Instagram, I have it in my bio, and it will say Color Questopia Color Chart A link, and it's to a Google Sheets page. I have on there the date that I have updated the sheet, and you will see that there, so you can print out a copy for yourself or create whatever you want. I'll go through in a lot of detail how I chose the colors that I did and stuff like that in a future video, but if you want to go ahead and get started, you can absolutely do that. So I will be coloring another page in here today with my Ohuhu markers, just to test out the Ohuhu marker choices that I have. And then I also want to test out my Teo Tree markers, because I know a lot of people like and enjoy those, and so I will be testing those out in this book as well, just to make sure the color choices I have, I feel 100% happy with. I do also have I feel very confident with the colors from the Bic Intensity markers as well that I chose. I'm just sticking to alcohol markers right now, but I will be going through some water-based markers as well that I have that are numbered or have color names, just so that I can find some water markers too, because I know some of you guys enjoy coloring and Color Questopia books and water markers. So extremely happy and proud of this book. I hope you enjoy the new color palette that's a little bit more simplified. This will be the color palette that they use moving forward. And enough about that. Let's move on. We've got lots of other books to get to. I'm going to stick this one over here. Next is the Flower Stained Glass, Color by Number by Shershneva. I colored the very first page here. I had kind of colored a couple of random pages, and now I'm going back to just coloring in order. I did this with my Copic markers. I am also ordering some new Copics to match the Color Questopia. I have most of the colors. If you use your Sunlife for your Sunlife color palette from the Kira book or from the Sunlife books, this color palette too aligns with a lot of the colors that are in the Color Questopia book. So a lot of the markers and stuff that you use can be used in this book as well, but really like this book, love this page. This book is one of my absolute favorites of hers, and I look forward to coloring more in this one. That one's just really fun and relaxing. DaniButtons. I created a monster. Basically, this is one of my 10 books to finish for the fun of coloring by number. They are working on completing this book for this year. So my goal is to complete 4 to 5 pages a month out of this book, and it's pretty easy. The mandalas in this book are pretty simple. I completed 4 pages, and I saw that Danielle, DaniButtons, had started to color in this book, and so I kind of, I guess, taunted her a little bit and just said that my goal is now to just stay ahead of her. And yeah, she's beating me now. She has colored, I think, a total of 10 pages out of this book. I have completed a total of 8 pages out of this book, so I am 2 pages behind her. I may not post my completions of this book on Instagram because I'm also a somewhat competitive person, so I may try to keep it a secret till the end of the month and see if I can stay ahead of Danielle. Probably not, but it's going to keep me motivated, I think, to have a little bit of a competition in this book. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes, Danielle. Stone Mosaic 2, Color by Number, my favorite book from the Belba family thus far. And this is also on my 10 books to finish, and I completed this one. I'm not 100% certain what this is. I think it's a flower because these look like the petals to me, and maybe these are some of the, forget if they call them stamens that come out of the flower. I think that's what it is. I know it goes landscape like this just because of how it's numbered, but I completed this one. And then I completed this cute little kitty cat. I love the images in this book. I'm not as sold on the ones that are in book 1. It's like I kind of want to have book 1 just to have the complete set, but I really like the images that are coming out of this one. So I think I'm close to being halfway done in this book. I'm definitely making some good progress on this one, so hopefully we'll finish that one this year. The Color Questopia large print color by number. This is the black background version. You guys saw a video. If you have not, you can go check it out. This book I actually completed this month, so I colored 11 pages out of here. I completed this one. And this has been one of my favorite color Questopia books thus far. Completed that one. This was a Buddy Color with Amanda Downey. And I will link anybody about Buddy Colored with down in the description box below. I love how hers turned out as well. One thing I think that was a little bit of an error was that the flamingos didn't have a number on there. So you kind of got to choose what the flamingos look like. So I had chosen that kind of hot pink color. I colored this one. I did this one, and I love that. What I love about this book is just the variety of different images, like that there's sea images, there's flower images, there's like the fruit and vegetable baskets. So really fun, like the succulents. I love the succulents because it always surprises me kind of like what colors they include in that book. And the corgi, yeah, and there's like animal pets in here. So just a really, really fun book. The vegetables, and then I did this bird, the orange bird. So this book is now officially complete. Mystery Mosaic Secret Patterns. This is by Belba family. This book was sent to me for review. Lots of really neat just pattern books coming out. I completed 2 images from here. This is kind of fun because it's not predictable, so you don't really know exactly what you're coloring. I do the dot method in these books. I don't know that I like the dot method as much in this book as I like the cross stitch method. But I do think the images are really cool. This one here is my favorite. I love how this looks, and it looks really cool on camera. It's a little bit blurrier and hard to see in person, of course, but when you look at it from afar, I just think that looks awesome. So this is a really, really cool book by the Belba family. I do have a full flip-in review on this book as well. This one was also sent to me by Belba family, possibly one of my favorite of their books. This is the 3-color series, Animals and Birds. This is the second in their 3-color series. They did the celebrities, and they've done this one. I did my flip-in review too. It's just 3 colors. You choose a light, medium, and dark, or just do like me and just randomly choose 3 colors of whatever you want. So I did the eagle in kind of red, white, and blue, kind of, you know, American colors with our flag. I did this crocodile inspired by Mardi Gras, and so it's actually gold Pentel Sparkle Pop, and then green and purple Stabilo 68 pens is what I used for that. And then this guy I absolutely love. I just chose 3 colors. I just Googled 3-color color palette on Google and found this one and thought this kind of looked like kind of tropical colors, and so this iguana. So that's a really fun book. The Chibi Girls Grayscale 100 plus pages, 4 books in one. I did 2 buddy colors out of here, and this was to go along with my hashtag Flowers and Fairies 2021. And so this first one was with @Rachel Vaudry. So Rachel Hodder did this one with me, and I absolutely love how this turned out. Rachel and she kind of left it to me to choose the page, and I was like, oh, well, I want to choose a fairy page. So I chose, this is the very first one in the book. At the end of it, we were like, wow, I chose a really hard page. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Well, I know how it happened. I chose the page, but this one took us forever, both of us forever to color, but I really like how it turned out. I Googled a color palette that I ended up being really happy with. This was all done in alcohol marker, and then I just used some glitter gel pen accents. And this is also kind of one of the first times I chose not traditional colors. When I started to color her skin, it's almost like this kind of dark peach color. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I did her like green hair, and I was like, she looks like an Oompa Loompa. And so I thought I was going in totally the wrong direction. But once I started coloring everything else, it kind of all came together as I incorporated the colors. So I also used some white gel pen accents on her wings. So yeah, so I really like it. And so, yeah, this was fun. I really enjoyed this. And then I did this one most recently, and I did this one with Jordan Norris, who's at Jordan's Coloring on Instagram, and did this lovely lady, and oh my gosh, it is so sparkly. So a couple of things about this one. I got my inspiration for the gems from Emma Colors 2020. Emma had just done this page last month, and I saw her color the gems like this, and I was like, ooh, I knew I really wanted to do this page, but I was kind of struggling with how I wanted to color the gems. And I love how Emma did it. So I hope Emma doesn't mind, but I stole that idea, borrowed that idea, I guess, and did my gems this way. And then I knew I wanted to make her kind of, Emma also uses glossy accents on the eyes for her chibi girls, and so I don't know if you can kind of see that shine as well, but I did that. That is a super cool effect, so I will definitely be doing that moving forward. I also wanted to do kind of a different skin and hair, and so she's kind of a witch fairy a little bit to me with the purple hair and the green skin. And so I also tried to borrow an idea from Michelle at Kits and Caboodles, because I tried to create a story with her. So my story is that she's just a witch. She's kind of a normal witch, and she has to steal these gems to put in her little headpiece to become a magical fairy. And so they transform her into being a fairy. Now, I also used alcohol marker on here. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me zoom in just maybe a hair a bit more. I made some texture with kind of the back walls here, and I just used my colorless blender to go over after I had colored this to kind of make it look a little bit more, kind of give it some texture. I wasn't happy with some of the colors I chose, so I kind of went over with a darker color in the background for the cave. I used white gel pen to outline the gems and to kind of put these little dots around her wings. I've seen that done before, and that looks really nice. I also struggled with her wings a little bit. I had originally made them the colors of the gems, but then it just kind of blended in with the gems, and so I ended up kind of going over that with a couple of different sets of alcohol markers. And then I used, this is one of my Divical gel pen colors to kind of outline her wings. And I used stickles for the first time to kind of do these outlines on her wings. And oh my gosh, I'm now addicted. I understand now the stickles craze. This is just absolutely gorgeous. And let me see, can I find it quickly? So I got some stickles, and I found this set on Amazon. And then one that I use is called Mermaid Tail. It's this kind of iridescent purple color to kind of outline her wings, and I love how that turned out. So for those of you who are fans of stickles, I totally get it now and love it. And so I will definitely be using stickles in the future. I also use some glitter gel pen in her hair and some glitter gel pen for some of the accents here. I think I use a combination of the Jot and Flare glitter gel pens for a lot of those details. So yeah, so I love it. And Jordan's turned out amazing. She also used a ton of glitter, and she, guys, is only 17 years old, and she's extremely talented. So thank you, Jordan, for coloring with me, and thank you, Rachel, for coloring with me. I'm really happy to have these pages complete, and it was awesome to get to color with you. I love doing buddy colors out of the Chibi Girls books. I think they just turn out looking great, and it's really cool to kind of see what different people do. Next is Sunlife drawing Little Fairy Stained Glass Color by Number. I only completed one page out of here. I did this one, and this was using my Copic markers. And I really love this book. I really wish I was able to do more in here, but I was only able to do one page. So this was from my Flowers and Fairies 2021. I actually did this one February 1st. So I'm glad to have started this book at least, and have gotten at least one page done in here. And I'll do more out of here. I really like these books from Sunlife Drawing. Unicorn Black Background Color by Number. I completed one page in here. This is from Wrenn with Wrenn's Coloring Corner. She's on YouTube. Go check her out if you haven't already. I colored this one, and I added I think, is this my Divical? I think my Divical gel pen, I added some detail to the horn. You can probably see a little bit of the shine. I love this color. It's like a pink and purpley color. What I'm going to do in the horn, Color Questopia just had it like a standard pink color. What I'm going to do on this moving forward is I'm going to do a dual metallic glitter gel pen on each of the horns for each of the unicorns, just because, like, so for this one it's all just orange, so I'll choose one that has some orange color in it and kind of complements it to kind of highlight the horn for the unicorns. I thought that would be kind of just a fun twist on adding a little bit of something to the Color Questopia pages. So I love, love, love this book. I love the black background version, and thank you, Wrenn, for coloring with me. I really enjoyed that one. Color by Number Christmas Mosaic. This is a Sunlife drawing book, one of my 10 books to finish. I did 2 pages out of here. I'm just going in order for Jolly Coloring 2021, which is hosted by Danielle from DaniButtons. So I did these with my Copic markers. So I did this one here. And then I did the angel here. So I am also officially halfway through this book. So I'm hopeful to complete this one. In order to stay on track, I need to color, I think, at least 2 pages a month out of this book. So I'm now on to the horizontal section of this book. And so, yeah, I'm just trucking along and going to keep going with that one. Easter Color by Number. This is the newest release by Sachin Sachdeva. I will have a flip-in review of this book soon. He's come out with 2 books recently, this one and then another Color by Number book. Love, love, love Sachin Sachdeva's books. This is probably one of my favorite books that he's come out with. This is the first book I have owned that has kind of that swirly mosaic style to his Color by Number that's a little simpler, and I thought maybe it was going to be a little too simple for me. However, I borrowed another technique from a friend. Nikki in Niagara, I have seen her do this in some of the Jen Racine books where they're a little bit simpler, where if you just straight color them, they look a little bit bland. But what I did, and I used my Cali Art brush markers here, is I colored, straight colored, and then I would go over it, kind of outline in a slightly darker color. And it has just some dimension and depth to the picture. And I love how it turns out. I have had this book sitting next to me. I want to get back in this book so, so bad. I definitely will. This is going to continue to sit out for me because I just love the images. I mean, look at this cute bunny cake. I just love, and I don't want to do a full flip of this book, but I love, love, love this book. And like I said, I'll do a full flip-in review of this book. And then also, look at this cute bunny butt. I knew I had to color this as soon as I saw it because I was like, this is just adorable. I love this image as well. Also, if you are interested or want copies, I had a lot of people ask me what colors did I use to do the base color and then the outline. I did create a chart. This is with my Cali Art brush markers. So if you want to just take a quick little snapshot, you're more than welcome to, or else send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm happy to send you a copy of what this is if you have the brush markers and want to know what colors I use or match for these, because I absolutely love it. I just absolutely love it. I absolutely love this book. I can't wait to do a flip-in review and snatch it up. Again, kind of a similar I guess, method of coloring that I used on this book. These are my revival pictures. This is from the Flowers and Butterflies Color by Number from Sachin Sachdeva. Again, with these, I had just straight colored them, and then I just wasn't happy with them, so I went back. It just looked too simple. So I went back and I decided to add some different depth and dimension. I, again, use, if you're ever coloring marker on these large areas, you see how it can sometimes get a little splotchy. It looked real bad. And so what I did was I just took my colorless blender and went over it, and it created this kind of more mottled, antique-y looking effect, and it helps to blend out some of those splotches. So I really like how that worked. I did outline I went back and outlined in the darker color here. I added some glitter gel pen on the flower petals because the red was just kind of blending into itself. So I added that. And then I went bananas with my white gel pen. My white gel pen has now become one of my favorite tools, and just added dots and spots to the butterfly wings. And then a little bit to the inside of the flower as well, just to make it look a little more like a flower. And honestly, guys, these techniques are so simple. This probably took me 15-20 minutes to do, to kind of fix it, and I'm just really, really happy with the outcome. I think it looks so much better. And then I did something a little different here, some techniques I liked and didn't like. I did very similar white gel pen. For the background, I actually used colored pencil so that I didn't have to use so much marker. And then I did kind of a darker colored pencil outline, and then used a colorless blender to, a blending pencil to kind of blend it out a little bit. I'm not as happy with that effect, but I am happy with everything else. And I'm happy with, you know, with the image and how it kind of turned out in comparison to what it was before. So I think it helps me to do some experimenting in these more simple books. This book will probably be one of the books that I experiment with some of my new kind of distress inks, pastels, and things like that, because they have these large open background spaces. So I think it calls to me for that, as well as like using some of my new stickles and stuff. I really have determined I like coloring simple images, but then creating some detail and depth. And so these books, Sachin's books like this, are absolutely perfect for that, because I can just practice without being overwhelmed or feeling like I've colored a really complex image like the Chibi girls images. I'm so afraid of messing those up sometimes. Whereas in this book, it's like, okay, well, it's only going to take me 30 minutes to color it in marker, and then if I mess it up, I mean, it only took me 30 minutes. It's not like it took me a couple hours to color it and to have to choose a color palette and all that kind of stuff. So this is a really cute book, and fun for experimenting like that. So happy with that one. Another new release by the Sachdeva family. This is by Prachi, Dewan, Sachdeva, and I've done a little bit of experimenting in this book as well. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. This one, I did the first 2 pages here. Again, just used a lot of white gel pen to add some detail. And then for the background, I used my pastel crayons. A little bit hard to see. The camera kind of washes out the color, but this is a light blue crayon I use in the background, just so I don't use a lot of my marker. And then this one actually has and you probably can't see it. You probably definitely can't see it here, but it's kind of a peach colored pastel crayon. So it's super, super light. But again, use some white, gel pen accents and then some glitter gel pen as well on this page too. So love how the 2 of those turned out. I love her pattern in quote books like this. I think they're great. So yeah, I love that there's some Easter books coming out. I don't have any Easter books. I wasn't coloring last year during this time, so this is my first time kind of diving into some springtime and Easter books, which spring is like my favorite, I guess, season. So really, really fun. Next is Zendoodle, Playful Pets. Absolutely love this book. This is one of my favorite books. This one was a buddy color, and I'm so sorry. Why do I not have your name on here? I do not have the name of the person that I buddy colored with, but hopefully I can link her down below. But this one, and I can't remember exactly who it was because I did this buddy color on February 1st, so at the very, very beginning of the month. But look at this doggy. Isn't he cute? In the rain. Oh, he's adorable. So I did this with my Teo Tree markers. That's the match that I have for these Zendoodle books, and he's super, super adorable. I love doing buddy colors out of this book too, because I love how they turn out in the pages. I think they're just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, so I want to continue to buddy color in this book too, if anybody has this book. This one and my Chibi Girls Grayscale, I'm totally about buddy colors. Any book, honestly, I'm about buddy colors, but those in particular are fun. Same thing with this one. This is Spring Awakening Color by Number. This was one of the books that I really wanted to kind of get into this year. I did a buddy color here with Tina Dipped in Color on Instagram. So we did this for Foxy February for Michelle's Kits and Caboodles color along. And so I did this cute fox here. So this one was a lot of fun. And what markers did I use? I used my Ohuhu markers in here. The spaces in these books are a little bit bigger, so I was able to use my Ohuhus with no problem. So yeah, he was fun, and he was my first finish out of that book. The Craze Mysterious, Princess and Fairies. I did this one with just, I did this cute fairy here. And this one was from Emily, who's the Butterfly Hater on Instagram. And she also has a YouTube channel called Color Me Impressed, and we did this one for Flowers and Fairies 2021. I really like using the dot method in these books. I think the images turn out really good. It's just enough detail. It's super fast. I'm able to color one of these images maybe within an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours maximum, but I use my Crayola Super Tips in these, and I think she looks awesome. Even looking through the viewfinder, it looks amazing. So thank you, Emily, for coloring with me. I did a buddy color with Danielle from DaniButtons Colors on Instagram. DaniButtons, you all know her. I did a buddy color with her here. Now, she told me that she had a theme for the month to be magic, and I told her, I said, let's make this a little challenging. My favorite number is 9, so let's choose a page that ends in a 9, but also kind of stuck with her theme. So there were 2 images that I debated about. One was a Jungle Book one with a snake kind of mesmerizing Mowgli, and then Pinocchio, and I ended up going with Pinocchio because I was like, well, Pinocchio is all about magic. It's this wooden puppet that kind of comes to life, and I was wrong. She ended up, you'll see on her channel, she ended up choosing the Jungle Book picture, but it was fine. It was a fun and interesting, I guess a fun and interesting challenge, and I was glad to get a page colored out of this book, and I love how it turned out. Pinocchio, and I think that's Geppetto, is that the name of the cricket? So I love, again, I use the dot method in this book, and this was really fun to get an image completed out of here. I'm really loving these pixel books because they're not as overwhelming as kind of the large, big standard Belba family books, and you're still able to get some really good images colored, and a lot of them are Disney, except my Llamas one, but the Llamas one is fun and unique in its own way. Next, this is from my Dollar Tree haul. This is the Kickback and Color by Number Animals. Absolutely love these books. I had for the scavenger hunt, the extreme scavenger hunt for DaniButtons, one of the challenges was to do an otter, and so I colored this little guy, and I think he's really cute. This was the first one I colored out of here because I wanted to come back to you guys and let you know what my experience was coloring. This paper is extremely thin and pretty poor quality, so but actually my alcohol markers did great in here. I didn't have any issues with the images on the back or anything like that. Now you will see, like, I can't see what the color palette is here. I mean, I can see it in person, but it's covered up a lot by the ink from the other side. However, the color palette is the same on every page, so it's not like I have to worry about not knowing what colors are for the next image. I colored this with, I think, solely permanent marker. I used my Shuttle Arts and then my Pen and Gear permanent markers for this. And I think it turned out really cute. I will tell you one thing. I had a sticky note, just kind of a standard sticky note that was sitting on the inside of this book. Like, I had the sticky note kind of sitting like right here, tagged, because I knew I wanted to color this page for the scavenger hunt. And when I pulled the sticky note off, it pulled off some of the black lining, some of the black printing. So I will tell you, if you mark these pages like with flags or a sticky note or anything like that, just be aware the black line work will start to come off. So what I just did instead was I moved my sticky note over to this side of the page so that I didn't have to worry about that moving forward. So that was the only problem I really found on this paper. It didn't overly bleed. It didn't act too funny. So I think these books are still really good for whatever you want to color. So just be aware of some of that. Other than that, I think these books are still, they're a steal for $1. I think they're amazing. So yeah. And then last but not least is Love is Like a Rainbow. I have slowed down so much on this book. I had made such great progress when I first got this book and was coloring in this book like crazy, or kind of watercoloring in this book like crazy, but I've really slowed down. I only did one page this month. This is one of my 10 books to finish, so I've got to kind of get on it, but these are really fast and easy to color. So maybe once I get kind of re-inspired, I will do it. I did a color and chat with this book for one of the tags that I was tagged in, and completed this page, and I love how this turned out. It was so much fun. So some of the colors can be a little muddier and kind of like this one. Like I'm not as happy with the colors that they chose for this one, but for this one, I think that is just beautiful. And I think that turned out great. So I still have quite a bit to go in here. Yeah, I still have quite a bit to go in here. But like I said, I can knock out like probably 5 or 6 of these in a day if I really wanted to. So I'm not too worried about it. I'll get to them eventually. But with that being said, that ends my completed pages for the month. Again, I just want to thank you for watching and joining me for my color pages for the month of February. And also, if you have not seen it yet, look at my March plans. I have a hashtag for the month of March, which is Mosaic March 2021, where you can color out of any Mosaic style book for the month of March. Make sure you tag me or use my hashtag. I like, comment, and follow any of those pages as well. And with that being said, have a wonderful rest of the week. Have a beautiful March, and I will see you next time. Bye.